What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So today I got some carbon paddle shifters in from Shifter CA. I'll put a link to where you can contact them on Instagram, and if you're going to order more Supra stuff, you can also buy these paddle shifters from A90 shop. You can hit them up on Instagram and their website also. Other than that, you might hear some background noise. It's finally nice out here in Virginia. It's in the 60s. People are on their motorcycles and whatnot. Other than that, grab something to drink, sit back, let's unbox this, and let's show you guys how to install it. Anyways, catch you in a second. All right, y'all, here's the packaging that comes in. Shifters right here. So they're out of Canada. Some stuff about the company, and here we go. So I went with the red carbon paddle shifters, and this is actually two pieces right here. So basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna assemble everything together. It's pretty self-explanatory, it's not rocket science, and then just make sure everything lines up so you can affix your fastener right there. You have your extensions right here, which will go there. So basically it gives you the proper space to actuate the shifter, you know, back and forth once it's mounted to the car. Now, when I ordered this, these fasteners right here affix all this assembly onto the actual steering column itself. Unfortunately, your OEM fasteners are too short, so Shifter CA had to supply these to me. So if you do order this from Shifter CA, just let them know you have a Supra, let them know to include your longer fasteners in there. Other than that, let's pop over the trunk and start the process. All right, so this is your trunk hatch, your Supra. You're just gonna remove that little hatch cover right there, and we're going to disconnect the positive side. The reason why we're going to do that is because you will have to take your airbag off in order to access the fasteners on your OEM paddle shifters, and that's just for safety reasons. I've been hit by an airbag before. They're not fun, so gonna pop that off, lift this up, and right there is 10mm that you're going to use socket. Just keep in mind that this bracket right here is metal, so just put a rag over there in case your socket makes contact with this. You don't want to create an arc or something like that. So I don't really need to show you guys that, so I'm just go ahead and disconnect that. Okay, this doesn't really tie in anything, but a cool feature of Supra, if you hit the unlock button, you hold it down, your windows will go down. So basically, depending on how far you want the window to go down is how long you hold the unlock button, but that's a little cool trick I want to show you guys. All right, so battery's been disconnected, and I don't know if I can point this out, but if you see that little hole right there, it's the exact same thing on the other side, and you're going to use a small flathead in order to release your airbag out. Once you release it out, you can disconnect if you want. I would just prop it up right here, and these are Rexpeed carbon paddle extensions, and let's go inside the car and see the difference. So with your Rexpeed kit, basically it's 3M tape behind there that you affix to your OEM paddle shifters. I have short fingers, and that's why I ordered these, so I get a little bit more grip and surface area. They're fine, however, I just find that where my hands are affixed right here, my fingers tend to bump into this. I want something a little more sleeker in design, and that's why I went with these, and obviously it brightens it up a little bit because I also have a red push to start button. So my thoughts on it is, I think that with the amount of real estate I have there, I can make it a little sleeker by applying these. So you can kind of tell right there how much smaller they're going to be when everything is put back in place. And yeah, I think that'd be the perfect size for me, but you know, to each their own. Okay, as I pointed out earlier, here's a little hole right there, and I'm gonna go in there and do the same thing on the other side to release this, and I guess I'll just film and see how difficult it is. All right, everyone, at this point the airbag's off, so let's just recap everything I did since I did it off camera. And if you are going to replace your steering wheel, this right here stays constant basically, and this piece right here, you're just going to replace the actual steering wheel itself. You can take that nut right there and remove it. My buddy's already done it to his A90, however he said that this right here is a very soft metal, but I digress. So right here where you see that protruding through, that's what it looks like from the inside, and there's a little spring inside the airbag that you need to decompress in order to unlock it from its position. And there's another one right here, so basically it's the same on either side. And as I said earlier, these are the OEM fasteners that holds your paddle shifters in place, and that's the reason why you need a longer extension with the shifter's CA unit. And here's a little connector right here to send the signal to shift. So it's going to be the same on the other side. Disconnect the fastener, disconnect that, and you're going to be able to replace everything. Now let's take a look at the airbag and show you some of the nuances from the airbag. All right, as you can see, I marked up this right here because I'm working blind and I can't really see what I'm doing, but I was basically going in with the flathead like this, and doing that, it wasn't really compressing the spring as I needed to, because when I say compressing, you're basically taking the spring and you're pushing it all the way over into the slot right here to be able to disconnect that. Your better bet when you insert it, as you can see, instead of inserting it flat like that, insert it like this, so you have more surface area to press on that spring itself. And it's going to be the same thing on this side. As you can see, I marked it up a little bit because I was working blind and couldn't see, but now you guys know, so you won't mar up your airbag. I mean, it's not going to do anything. It's just ugly, and I don't like stuff like this to my car. The one big thing is, let's step back inside the car and we'll show you that. All right, everyone, sorry for the poor lighting condition. I had to close my garage because every time I shoot a video, people always driving on my street, and I live in a cul-de-sac, super annoying. So with your flathead, you're gonna start on the left side. So I showed you guys where to insert your flathead. I showed you guys what it looks like on the inside of your airbag. So we've already established that. The one the critical thing that I didn't point out is, you start on the left side of your steering wheel. What you're gonna do is you compress all the way in your airbag. You press it in, and you're gonna feel something give, and that's your spring giving. And you might feel a click, you might hear a click, but you're pressing, as you press in, press it all the way in, and you might feel a little something. And with that being said, once you hold it in, you're gonna pop it out. So you're gonna leave the left side out, you're gonna pull out your flathead, now you're gonna go to the right side and keep the right side compressed. Don't press on the center of the airbag, because you do that, you're gonna click it back in place. So compress all the way to the right, and repeat the same process. You're gonna feel the spring, push it in, you're gonna feel the spring give, and that's to compress to release it, and then you're gonna pull that out. Honestly, as you saw how much marring I had on the inside of the airbag, it took me about 5 or 7 minutes of just fidgeting around trying to figure it out. Obviously, if I were to do this to somebody's car, I already know what I'm doing, and I wouldn't mar up the inside of the airbag. So, just let me be the guinea pig. After that, remove your flathead. As I said, once you feel the click and you feel the airbag give, pull out your flathead. That way it's not intruding in the space, and pop it out. After that, you just gently pull it out. You have 2 wires to unplug. If you don't want to unplug the wire, you can set it up here in place. So let's go back inside. I'm gonna undo the fasteners real quick. I'm not gonna show you guys that because it's super simple. And then I'm gonna undo the wiring for the paddle shifter. So we'll just do a quick side-by-side comparison between your OEM paddle shifter, your Rexpeed extension, and the new shifter CA carbon paddles. So catch you in a second. All right, so it's super simple. Take out your OEM paddle shifter. This is a little fastener right here. Undo that clip, bing bong, it's out. And that's what I was saying, with your fastener, you're gonna need this longer one right here that shifter CA had to send out to me. So here's your Rexpeed extension right there, and here is your shifter's CA paddle shifter. So as you can see, it's a lot sleeker in design, a lot smaller, but compared to OEM, it's a lot longer. So basically, I just want more length, I just don't want more width. And the reason why you need this longer fastener is because you have to put this in here. If you can see, there's my buddy Jobu right there, but as you can see, the amount of space that it has right there in order to give it the proper space to actuate your shifter. You look at the OEM one, as you can see, it's about the same thickness to properly actuate that. So if you don't get a longer fastener, don't even bother wasting your time trying to install this. I learned that already. So anyways, let's get everything buttoned up and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, I went too far ahead, so I forgot to transfer everything over. So basically, here's a little roll pin. it's in a little hole right there. You're gonna push out that roll pin. You're gonna gently lift this up, and there's a little spring right here to actuate your paddle shifter. So all you're simply gonna do is gonna take 1, 2, 3 components. You're gonna transfer over here and put everything back together. Then you can finally put the paddle shifter in. All right, so here's everything buttoned up. I put the spring, and there's a little lever that goes right here that holds everything in place. I started upside down, and then I took your paddle shifter and placed it up on top. Once you get that, everything lined up, put your roll pin back in. So where this negative symbol is or downshift symbol, you're gonna push the pin this way. And basically what you wanna hear is an audible click when you press on this. Come on now. So, I don't know if you can see that or hear that. That's how you know this assembly is properly put back in place. So all you have to do now is weed this back through your steering wheel and attach your fastener right there, and that's it. Okay, so here's everything in place. The one big thing you want to make sure is you have proper clicks right here and vice versa on the other side. So let's see, let's put the airbag in. Step 1, reconnect the battery. So I have a Ecotech flash on here. The flash is still going to be on here. It's not going to clear anything out. Basically, the only thing you have to do is just update the time to your clock. Everything on your infotainment system is going to be the same, so it's not a big deal if you unplug it. Airbag, once you get everything clicked in, it's just going to click back in place, because as we remember, those springs that are held on right here is what's going to hold it in place. And the last thing you're going to do is just take it out for a drive around your cul-de-sac, your street, to make sure everything works as it should. The key thing is, obviously the side's a little dark, so make sure that your little whatever solenoid is plugged back in for your paddle shifters. But these fasteners right here, they're Torx bits. I don't remember what size they are. Don't go crazy with them. Just make sure they're on there snug to make sure that your paddle shifters don't move around. You're going to get a little bit of free play, but you don't want it safety-wise for it to be loose, and if you're hitting this, it falls out or whatever the case may be. I would not advise to put any kind of Loctite or anything on here. Otherwise, I don't think you'll be able to get this off again, because I think it's basically screwing into plastic itself. So yeah, just snug those up, make sure everything's plugged in your airbag, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so some closing thoughts. This install could take 20 minutes if you know what you're doing. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you don't know what you're doing, so you're going through the process like I am. So I think all in all, it took me about 30-40 minutes of me figuring out, taking my time, but it's not super hard and it's not super complicated. Just as I said, if you're gonna go to A90 shop or Shifter CA to order this, make sure you get that longer fastener. Otherwise, you took everything apart for nothing other than knowing the process for next time. Other than that, if you happen to like this video, please click that like button. It helps me out, or just leave a comment on there. And if you want to follow more mods and more topics and discussions with the 2020 Supra, please hit that subscribe button. That greatly helped me out. Other than that, I appreciate everyone's support. Y'all be easy out there, and I will see you next time. Peace.